Hi everyone. In this video, I'll show you how to use and assemble my Easter themed bubble candy holders. If you'd like to use my files, have a look in the description under this video. You'll find a link to my Facebook group, and that's where you'll find my project links. I thought it would be best to start this video in Design Space so I can show you what I've done in case you've never done these bubble holders or candy holders before. I thought it was a good idea to take a look at the files. So I've included 2-inch, 3-inch, and 3.15-inch because it seems that everyone is getting a slightly different size when they order the fillable ornaments. So I'm going to just take these, group them, and hide them for now so I have more room to show you. All three sizes are exactly the same. The only difference is the size. So let's take this bunny and ungroup it. I did the little bow as print and cut. You can use it, or if you prefer, you can add a ribbon bow. It's completely up to you. In that case, anything that I'm not using, like say you're not using this bow, I wouldn't delete it. I just hide it and save it in case I want it in the future instead of having to recreate it. This is a little piece of cardstock. The eye is a separate piece of cardstock. You'll see all that when we assemble it. And at the back of the file, I've included a blank white portion. I'm going to move it to the front. There it is. This is the back. If you're going to use it and write by hand, you have nothing to worry about. Just cut it as is. If you're going to flatten an image on it like I've done, you'll see it as we assemble. Then in that case, you want to flip it horizontally so that when you attach it to the back, the image is on the outside. If you forget to flip it, the image would be glued to the back of the bunny. You won't see the image. So you want to make sure if you're going to write with your machine or you're going to add an image to it and flatten, you want to flip it over. And the same is true for the egg. On the egg, this little Happy Easter tag is print and cut also. So you can change things or add things any way that you want, make it your own, or make them exactly like they are. And as I mentioned, everything is the same if you're doing the larger formats. So I've already cut mine out. I have several to make, so I've cut them all in advance. And I'm going to switch to my overhead camera and we'll assemble a bunny and an Easter egg. And here's the little bunny. Isn't it cute? And the Easter egg. I think they're adorable. I really like them. So I'll assemble one of each for you. So the first thing that I do is adhere this circle to the back of my bubble so that it has time to dry before I put it on the bunny or on the egg. So these are the extra circles that you see in the project file. They're larger than the cutout. I'll use this one so you can see the contrast. They're larger than the cutout because you want to be able to have them glued behind, and you want enough space on that circle to glue on your bubble. So I'm going to do a bunny first. So let's put this blue one away. We're going to use a pink. And I'm going to put some candy in it, some little chocolate eggs. And I'm just going to take my adhesive and put it around the edge. If you did the Valentine ones or the St. Patrick ones, then you already know how to do these. But I always do the bubbles first so they have time to dry. We're just going to turn this one over. and let it dry. Actually, I should have done an Easter egg one. So I'll just put this aside and we'll add the adhesive around the edge. You want to keep it close to the edge so you're not gluing your candy to the cardboard or to the cardstock. And we'll just put this on, make sure it's centered, and there, and put it aside. And now it'll have time to dry while I do some assembly. This one is already dry, so I'll do the bunny first. So I have my black layer. I have my back that I did print and cut. So you see that if you reverse it, your design is on the outside, or your text, whatever you added to it, is on the outside. If you forget to flip it, it'll be on the inside. You won't be able to see it. So we have the black layer. We need another white layer, a pink layer. Put that aside. I need a bow. I need the ears, the little ear. And I should have the eye here somewhere. There's one. An eye and a cottontail. These are together, a cottontail. So these are all the pieces that we're going to use. We'll put that aside. I'll do that one off camera. Okay, so I have all my pieces. The first thing I'm going to do is adhere the back. And this back, of course, is completely optional. If you don't want to use it at all and you just want to have the black layer, just do that. The white layer is cut a little smaller so you can see the outline. And if you want to write by hand, you can do that too. Completely up to you. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to it all around the edge. And a little bit in the center. And we'll flip it over and line it up. So don't forget, you want to show that little black offset all around the edge. That looks good. And now we'll flip it over. So I'm going to add my plain white layer to this side so you can see how it looks. Again, some adhesive. These are really easy to do. Just center it up. And the next layer is our pink layer with a little bit of the white edge showing. But you need the candy to be under the pink layer. Some people are cutting these off with snips, these little tabs off with snips. You see those? I left it on and I just hide it under the bunny layer, the top layer. Once it's on, you don't see it at all. So I just hide it underneath. I don't snip it off. So I'm just going to line it up where I want that candy layer. So that would be about it. Put my adhesive on the back of it. And place it down. And then we'll try again to make sure it's in the right place. And move it while it's still wet. That looks good. Okay, that looks good. So that's drying on. Add adhesive to my top layer. These are really easy to make. And they're so cute. They're really adorable. I'll add this back on and line it up. That's all glued in place. And you can see that tab is hidden. You can't see it at all. It's under the top layer of cardstock, so you're not going to see it at all. Just let this dry. I'll put on my cottontail. You could use a little cotton ball for this, or a pom-pom if you have, if you want to use something else instead of the little cutout piece. That's completely up to you. There's my little tail. And I'm going to add the little blue piece to the ear. Just to give the ear some dimension. And we have the little eye that goes on. These pieces are small. I may have put a little too much adhesive on that one, on the eye. That's okay, it's clear. It dries clear. There's the eye. And the bow. So at this point, if you want to, you can add a ribbon bow if you prefer. Add some adhesive to that. I did these as print and cut instead of having 2 layers of cardstock on them. I just did print and cut. And there's the bow. Cute. And there's the bunny. So easy to do. They're so sweet. And that's the bunny, all done. So let's continue and do the Easter egg. So on the Easter egg, the back layer is pink. I didn't use black, I used pink for that layer. We have the next layer white, then blue, then yellow. Our little tag, and this is the back. And even though the egg looked very symmetrical in Design Space, I still flipped this layer over when I added the print and cut, just to be 100% sure. So we're just going to add our adhesive. I'm using Tombow liquid. It's a clear water base, but you can use whatever adhesive you prefer. I wouldn't use hot glue on cardstock, but that's totally up to you, of course. So we'll just center this up. That looks good, I think. There we go. That looks good. Make sure it's adhered. And that's the back. Mine say Happy Easter. And we'll flip it over. And we'll do our white layer next. Again, some adhesive all the way around the edge. Now I'm going to pick it up to center it. I find that easier. There's our white layer. Then we have our blue layer, and there's a little bit of a white offset to make the blue stand out. These Easter eggs are super easy to do. A little bit of blue. And once again, I'll pick it up. I find it easier to center it rather than when it's flat on the table. There we have our little white offset showing. If you need to see that closer. Okay, and then the last layer is our yellow layer, the decorative layer. But first we're going to add our bubble with our candy. And you want to place, if you're leaving the tabs on, you want to place them so that they're hidden. I think I'll turn it and have it go towards the bottom. And there's no blue offset. So you want to line it up. That looks good, so that's about where it goes. It's off center, it's not completely in the center. It's a little lower than center. Add some adhesive. And I'll put that little tab facing down. And while it's still wet, I'll put my yellow layer back on so that I can move it while it's still wet and place it in the correct place. That looks good. So we'll leave that there to dry. And we'll add adhesive to our yellow layer. That should be enough. I use a lot of adhesive. I'll put that back on. Make sure it's lined up, and that looks pretty good. Press it down well. And all we have left is our little tag. So you can put this on with a pop-up if you prefer, or if you don't want to use it, you could add a little bow, anything you prefer. Do what makes you happy. If you want to use the tag, use it. If you don't want to, don't use it. Completely up to you. So we'll just put that tag on here. Press it down. And there we go. There's our Easter egg. That needs to all dry. And there's our Easter egg. So cute. And our bunny. Aren't they adorable? I hope you're going to make these. Please post pictures in the groups. If you do, I'd love to see how they turn out and how you change it to be your own. Thank you for watching.